On this edition of the Iowa Business Report,
this is really going to be transformative for Ames.
Major changes are planned to attract visitors to the Ames downtown area. You may well have paid less for Thanksgiving dinner this year. And in our business profile, we'll introduce you to a business that is planning a major expansion into Iowa. This is the Iowa Business Report for Thanksgiving weekend 2025.
The Iowa Business Report is a copyrighted production of Totally Iowa Media, which is solely responsible for its content. For more, click on the radio programs button at totallyiowa.com. Here is Jeff Stein.
They are calling it transformative community development. The Link development near downtown Ames, with an anchor of the Ames Event Center. It's part of a number of development projects in the city. Kevin Burke is president and CEO of Discover Ames.
Discover Ames, our legal name is actually the Ames Convention and Visitors Bureau, so we are the local tourism arm for Ames, rebranded several years ago to Discover Ames. So a lot of people are familiar with Catch Des Moines. So there are counterparts down in Des Moines, and so we are a nonprofit organization that is funded with an agreement with the city of Ames. We are funded primarily through hotel motel tax. So we are the largest marketing and promoter of the city of Ames to our visitors. Very blessed with, obviously, the university is always morphing and growing. I've been in Ames now for almost 40 years, and it is so different today than when I first arrived. But in addition to the university, the community itself is always being progressive and growing, and including our downtown, campus town, North Ames, and the Duff area. There's always a lot happening, and things are ever changing. The Link is a project that started by a local developer and started pre-COVID, but obviously that slowed some things down. But we are partnering with them, and they are donating a portion of the land of the Link to us to create the Ames Event Center. And the Link is a 5-acre parcel that is just across the railroad tracks from downtown Ames. So the name Link was chosen for a number of ways. One of the borders is Lincoln Way, the street Lincoln Way, the main drag that runs east-west through town. But the Link also will connect this new development, multi-use district, to downtown Ames. And with the event center, there will also be a full-service hotel, an upscale hotel of approximately 200 rooms, and there is no hotel downtown Ames. So this is truly going to be linking this new development to the old development of downtown. And we have all kinds of groups that are always wanting to come to Ames. Being in central Iowa, a lot of state associations want to have their meetings here in Ames, and we just don't have enough meeting space. And also, one of the things that a lot of groups look for is walkability. So when they're not in the conference or their meetings, they have something they can do. And with this development connected to downtown, it provides that feature so they can go shop, eat, have an adult beverage if they choose, whatever that might be. So it's something that Ames really is missing, but this will be a transformative project for the community because it's literally less than a mile from Hilton Coliseum and that whole corridor of Lincoln Way, which then ultimately runs through campus. This will connect everything from Ames to the university and beyond.
No small project in terms of not only scope, but dollars, some significant dollars being invested.
It's going to be several $100 million, the overall development. We, as Discover Ames, are primarily focused on the event center, although the whole project, all the pieces need to come together to be successful. It's a huge investment, and the dollars are going to come from a variety of sources through philanthropy, through corporate donors, and naming rights on certain facilities. Just like down in Des Moines, the Wells Fargo Arena just changed to Casey Center. So we'll be looking at similar type of opportunities. The city, the county, state grants that are available through IEDA. So there's a number of sources that we're looking at to fund this.
People have heard a lot about the SciTown development that Iowa State is doing, not far from this. That is completely separate and distinct and has nothing to do with this other than it is just more evidence of the whole region being lifted up. There's got to be a lot of interest in Ames to have both of these major developments being able to happen at the same time.
Yeah, we're extremely fortunate, extremely blessed for the two developments to be happening simultaneously. It really wasn't designed that way, but it's turning out that way. SciTown, we have been a champion of SciTown since Jamie Pollard first announced it. We helped fund part of the feasibility study when he first announced it, and really are excited about that project. It is obviously tying a lot of athletic facilities together with some retail, restaurants, office space, some living space, as well as some meeting space in that area as well. But the two projects they really will benefit each other because the connectivity with the link being next to downtown and that walkability piece. But yet there's also a walkability with SciTown and Stevens Auditorium right there and campus as well. And that will also have a hotel in it too. So I think that as we attract groups and events, they will be utilizing both venues, both districts, so to speak, SciTown and the link. I think that it's really going to give our visitors a great experience to get the university feel, but also the community feel through the city of Ames and the link in downtown.
So the Ames Event Center, and you can learn more online as this moves along, ameseventcenter.com. This is going to be quite an interesting partnership, and it's designed to be a nonprofit as opposed to, for example, a hotel or some of the other developments, correct?
That's the current plan. We are working with the city and we'll be working with the county as well as to really who will own the event center. Right now, it will be a nonprofit. It remains to be seen how that will play out. But since they are donating the land to us, and this is really a community facility. I talk about attracting groups and events and associations to utilize it, but we're missing out on opportunities locally. We don't have a venue that's really large enough to accommodate some of the local events that Ames offers, whether it's the Boys and Girls Club Gala or the Cardinal and Gold Gala. I mean, that's an event that currently Iowa State hosts down at Prairie Meadows. But we should be able to host that here in Ames. And so this is really a community facility. And that's why we chose the name Ames Event Center, because it's not just a conference center to bring in outside conferences. It's really multi-use. We will be able to have a ballroom that can accommodate up to 1,000 people in a banquet setting, but then it could also be divided and utilized by multiple groups simultaneously.
I-35, Highway 30, perfect location. But you were missing out on events that either could come in from the outside or, to the example you just gave, folks at home were having to leave.
That's absolutely correct. You know, we've got groups that would love to be here, but some of the university facilities, their priority are the students first. And so we're limited on some of the times or some of the athletic facilities. We have to wait till the schedules are announced before we can start booking things. And many groups, they want to book it years out. And so this facility, the Ames Event Center, will allow us to be able to do that and still fill in those other gaps when we can get university facilities. We have enough groups that want to come here that we'll be able to utilize all of those simultaneously.
What's the timetable? You've presented this within the past month as you and I are talking to the city council. And again, the city has been involved from the start, but this was a big public launch as I understand it. So what's the timetable now?
Well, we are currently in a massing exercise or going through a massing exercise of what does the overall site plan look like. Once we have that completed by the end of January of next year, then we will actually start design work on the actual buildings. The event center and the hotel will be the very first two buildings that will be designed and constructed. We're hoping that a year from now, that we're able to be under construction and then a little over a year probably be open. That's our hope.
It seems to me that this is what economic development in a public public-private partnership is all about. You have a couple of signature points, like a hotel and an event center, with area around for other investors to be a part of it. But there's got to be a role for government or a convention and visitors bureau, etc. You've got to, in essence, create the mood so that others can join in. That's really what this is about, is it not?
Absolutely, 100%. This is really going to be transformative for Ames. And you talk about economic growth and development. You're right. You have the event center and the hotel, but they're talking about over 300 apartment units that will be added to this as well. Talk about an influx of people and dollars to downtown and the center of Ames. It's going to be just transformative. We're so excited.
Kevin Burke, President and CEO of Discover Ames. We spoke via Zoom on Thursday, November 6th. More on the project, including preliminary plans, at ameseventcenter.com. Still to come, the tab for Thanksgiving dinner. And later, an Ohio business makes Iowa home. You're listening to the Iowa Business Report. Do you know the signs of business fraud? Don't let bad actors catch you off guard. Stay vigilant for cases of imposter scams, financial fraud, business identity theft, and cyber attacks. It starts with recognition. Learn how to identify signs of fraud and where to report it. Visit sos.iowa.gov/protectyourbusiness to get started. This message is presented by the Iowa Secretary of State. Welcome back to the Iowa Business Report. I'm Jeff Stein. The American Farm Bureau Federation released its 40th annual Thanksgiving dinner survey this month. Nationwide, it appears the cost to consumers was down. Obviously, that's not good news for producers, who analysts say are getting squeezed so processors and retailers can keep their profit margins high. The classic holiday feast for 10 ran you $55.18 nationally this year. That's $5.52 per person. It's a little cheaper here in the Midwest, only $53.38. That's nearly $2 cheaper. The average price for a 16-pound turkey is down more than 16% from last year. The Farm Bureau says that while the wholesale price for fresh turkey is up from last year, stores were featuring deals to get people back to buying turkey. This in the wake of bird flu outbreaks and the resulting much higher prices not long ago. In addition to turkey, the survey included stuffing, sweet potatoes, rolls, peas, cranberries, a veggie tray, and pumpkin pie with whipped cream. Vegetables are way up. That veggie tray, which some of us would skip anyway, is up more than 61% in price from last year. Sweet potatoes are up 37%, in large part due to hurricane damage last year in North Carolina. Stuffing, pie crusts, rolls, and cranberries all down in cost from last year. Peas, pumpkin pie mix, and milk were among the remaining items that were up in cost. But having leftovers, that's priceless. Coming up, 20 stores in Iowa alone. You're listening to the Iowa Business Report. Do you know the signs of business fraud? Don't let bad actors catch you off guard. Stay vigilant for cases of imposter scams, financial fraud, business identity theft, and cyber attacks. It starts with recognition. Learn how to identify signs of fraud and where to report it. Visit sos.iowa.gov/protectyourbusiness to get started. This message is presented by the Iowa Secretary of State. Welcome back to the Iowa Business Report. I'm Jeff Stein. In this week's business profile, you'll meet Jim Nussbaum, CEO of Berry Bagels. The restaurant chain is based in Toledo, Ohio, but they plan to open some 20 stores soon in Iowa.
We are expanding throughout, I'll call it the greater Midwest. We're in Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, and Michigan. Iowa seems to share a lot of the same characteristics as Ohio. Hardworking people appreciate great value and great food. We see it as a very similar demographic to one we've successfully served here. And so Iowa is surprisingly, my geography is pretty bad. When I first looked how close Iowa is, I can get there in about 5.5 hours to the east side, well within our range for supply chain management and brand management. So we think it's a great spot for us. And, we're excited to come there. We're working on a lease right now. We're at about the 10-yard line in eastern Iowa. I'll just leave it there. I need to keep it a little tight, but eastern Iowa, we hope to have an announcement in the next 2 weeks for our first location. We're going to announce our partners at the appropriate time, but we've been working with a group there who is familiar with our brand, is familiar with Toledo, and is ready to be our partner with boots on the ground to help us implement the brand across the state. That'll probably be announced at the same time we announce the signing of the lease. They are going to also be functioning as our support system on a day-to-day basis across the state. So people in Des Moines and Cedar Rapids and Ames and Iowa City, all target markets for us, will be able to have hands-on, real-time support from a management team, which is a local management team, which is important to us. We want everybody to have the best chance of success, feel supported, and that's part of our plan. Berry Bagels started in 1972 in Toledo, Ohio. We're 53 years old and aging. When you come into a store, you're going to see our differentiator is a couple things. We serve very, very high quality meats and cheeses at affordable prices. But what sets us apart in the bagel world is that we bake in small batches all day long. And so what that means is in a lot of places, they might do a bake at say 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and kind of leave the bagels in the bins all day. We bake in small batches to ensure freshness. A lot of times they're warm, they're preservative free. You're guaranteed of getting a fresh bagel anytime you come in our restaurant. And I think that's the value, our customers know that they can get something that tastes great, preservative free, baked really fresh throughout the day. I think that's the different experience. We have 7 kinds of cream cheese, 18 kinds of bagels, and we try to make things really fun for our customers so they have a great experience. I think we have good to great drinks. We serve great deli sandwiches, the highest quality meats and cheeses, but our bagels and cream cheese are superior because they're so fresh, and it's a part of our name. You're not ever going to see us be called Berries. Berry Bagels is our core, our brand. It's who we are. And because it is, we're pretty proud of our bagels, and we take great pains to make sure our customers have an excellent experience every time they come to one of our stores. What's important for us is that they're based on service. It's not necessarily important that they have a food background. Our first and most important characteristic is that they want to serve. And what that means for us is broader than serving customers, serving their fellow employees, serving vendors, being part of the community, and of course, serving customers. But that's, if you want to work with people, a lot of people are having things in their lives. We want our stores to be a place that they can have a seamless experience, and at least for 30 minutes to an hour, just forget whatever's going on in their life that maybe, dragging them down, and have a great meal. So for us, our franchisees need to be subscribed to that sort of idea that we're here to serve customers, serve our fellow employees, and make a great experience. That said, we also want our franchisees to be interested in being part of the community. We're a very philanthropic brand. We like, supporting Little League teams and high school teams. And we do the Race for the Cure as one of our big philanthropies in the Ronald McDonald House. So being part of a community is something, and being a great corporate partner in the community is something that's important to us, and something that's, we sort of pass down to our franchisees. But on a more logistical side, we'll bring them to Toledo, potential franchisees. We'll do a lot of training. We'll make sure they interact well with customers. Somebody told me something that I thought was funny, but is more true than I thought. If a potential franchisee asks you where their office is going to be, if that's the first question, that might not be the best fit. We want people who are going to be out front, visible, to be the CEO in their market. And I think we can teach them the food side. The personal side is what we go to first. We focus on providing two things. One is, humbly, we think our food is great. We think we provide customers with an excellent experience whenever they come in. And again, I say that in a very humble way, try to at least. But the second thing is we try to do it at a value point comparatively to other brands. When they come into Barry's, they walk out and say they got their money's worth. And so I think as long as we do that, people are still going to eat out. We become a preferred destination, even in difficult or uncertain economic times. And I think, that's part of our mission and our calculus is to provide great food at a great value. I think as long as we do that compared to some other brands, we'll put ourselves in a good position. We're really happy to be coming to Iowa. We're focused on growing across the state. I'm excited myself to spend time in Iowa, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Jim Nussbaum, CEO of Barry Bagels. More online at barrybagels.com. Barry is Barry. Thanks to Tim Harwood from IBR affiliate KXEL for sharing his conversation with Jim Nussbaum with us. And that brings us to the close of this week's program. We're back again next week at this same time. In the meantime, you can listen to all or part of today's program by going to totallyiowa.com and clicking on the radio programs link. We're also found on all the major podcast distributors, 19 now in all. Support for the Iowa Business Report comes from the Iowa Business Council, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization working to elevate Iowa's economy through leadership, research, and advocacy. Learn more and review the group's annual competitive dashboard report by going to iowabusinesscouncil.org. We welcome your comments. Send them by email to radio@totallyiowa.com. I'm Jeff Stein. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a prosperous week.
The Iowa Business Report is a copyrighted production of Totally Iowa Media, which is solely responsible for its content. For more, click on the radio programs button at totallyiowa.com.